So there are many issues in the Torah portion of Emor, but one of them is that all the Israelites are meant to bring olive oil, right, pressed, this clear olive oil to the Beis Mikdash for the services. And as we know, there is a constant challenge when we come and read this text, how this is relevant for us today, beyond understanding or having the memory of what they did then, for whatever reason, whether it's because we'll do this at a certain point in the future, and whether it's because this is part of our heritage and we need to understand. Both the Maggid of Zlotchov and Rabbi Abuhatzierah understand and are trying to make it relevant for our lives. And it's fascinating to compare this week because both take it to a completely different place, the common denominator being they are both making it relevant to our lives. So we'll start with Rabbi Abuhatzierah. Rabbi Abuhatzierah looks at this verse, right? You should command all of the Israelites to take to me this pressed olive oil for lighting this eternal lamp. And he says you should understand that what is hinted here is the Shabbos candles. For Rabbi Yaakov, he says when you read this verse and you think how it's relevant to me, it's about making sure that every Jewish household lights Shabbos candles every Sabbath. And he says, I'm going to show it to you. And he goes on to this, he first of all talks about this union, and I'm not going to get into this, these Kabbalistic unions going on between Mummy and Daddy in the heavens. And he brings the Ari that talks about the importance of Mummy and Daddy coming together and the importance of lighting the Shabbos candles for this union to occur. And after he's done that, he says, look, if we look at the verse tells us, and he does certain combinations of letters that Kabbalists go by, and he basically shows that in a certain configuration of letters, shemen, oil, actually equals Shabbos. And he even says, look at the acronym of shemen, it's two candles to be lit. And then he goes on and shows us how it's also to be lit by the wife, the mom of the household. But in any event, for Rabbi Abuhatzierah, the purpose is lighting Shabbos candles and understanding that by doing this, we are uniting certain things in the upper worlds that are required. That's Rabbi Yaakov. Now let's go to the Maggid. The Maggid looks at this verse, and the first question he asks is, what do I need this idea of pressed oil? Why am I saying katit? Why do I need to say katit? And he says, now where does he take oil? He says the first thing, because he also understands we need to explain oil. He says, the way I understand oil is chokhmah, is wisdom. How do I know this? He says, just like oil makes things clear, right? It's a clear thing, whether it's for light, so too wisdom makes us, it enables us, it gives us clarity. And by it saying you must take to you, he says this implies that you should also be going to the tzaddik, you should be going to the Rebbe for his wisdom, for he should be able to help you, because ultimately the Torah is about, and the Maggid it's a recurring theme, the Torah is not just stories, but it's ways to live, it's eternal ways to live, eternal truths. It's all about doing tshuva, and the way to do tshuva is by doing hitbodedut, being alone, but it's also by getting chokhmah, by getting wisdom. And in this case, we're talking through the tzaddik. But he says that's not enough. He says not only that, when you get the wisdom of the tzaddik, what you need to be doing with this wisdom of your own and of the tzaddiks, and this is why it says pressed oil, is because you need to press this wisdom and the advice you get and the insights you come to every aspect of your life. When you're eating, you need to be pressing this wisdom in. When you're talking, everything you do. And ultimately, when you do this according to the Maggid, you veer away from the sitra achra, the evil forces, and you're on the path of good. And the same goes for Rabbi Yaakov. When you do this, the light the Shabbos candles properly, you are basically pushing away the forces of evil as well. Thoughts on Shabbos candles, wisdom, and the olive oil in the temple. Shabbat Shalom.